Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to a weekly gaming news show, episode number 80. Today is Tuesday, December 26th. It's the day after Christmas, Christmas Eve.
Yes.
We're a little bit busy, so we couldn't get to you the live then, but we are here now.
Yes, we
And
are.
we're going to catch you up with the news for the week that ended Saturday, the 23rd of December.
Yes. Lots of stuff to cover. Hope everybody had a good holiday. How was yours, Boogie?
It was good. It was enjoyable. I ate. I didn't drink because I was driving. We didn't stay at home this time, so I didn't get
DD boys.
Yeah. So I passed on imbibing, but I'll catch up. Don't worry.
Yeah. Got a lot of catching up to do. Yeah, actually, I had a pretty good Christmas. Spent Christmas Eve with my girlfriend and her family. And then on Christmas morning, we went over to my mom's house and we had dinner over there. So I had like 2 Christmases.
Nice.
That was pretty good. It was like I was a kid in a divorced family or whatever.
Yeah.
Divorced parents, 2 Christmases.
You're halfway to what Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon,
right?
4 Christmases.
Yeah, man, almost there. Yeah, we gonna make it one of these days. We gonna get there. But yeah, I had a pretty good time. Got some cool gifts, and I got some more stuff coming in the mail.
Nice.
So yeah, pretty pleasant Christmas. No drama whatsoever, and that's all that one could really ask for.
Yeah, no food fights.
Yes. Oh my
no
God.
Political talk.
Oh God. Yes. It was good.
Let's just keep it moving.
Just keep it casual. It was really good. Right. But yeah, welcome everybody back if you're watching us live. Again, apologize for not being available on Christmas, but you know, gotta celebrate. Gotta spend time with the fam. But without further delay, let's go ahead and get into the first segment of the show, and that is our weekly icebreaker. If you're unfamiliar or you're new to the show, the weekly icebreaker is the part where we ask a question between the two of us just to get a sense of where we are on certain gaming related topics. Sometimes we like to go off the cuff, but today we're going to keep it gaming related. And this week's question comes from Boogie, so I'll go ahead and just let you introduce this one. What we got?
So this is going to be, it's spurred on by one of the stories we have later on, but do you see yourself paying full price? When I say full price, think $50, $60 for an iOS or Android game.
Quick answer, no. I mean, if there's anything that I can say about the difference between iOS and Android games and full console games, it's the controller.
Right.
I do not enjoy playing games. I have my S7 right here. I don't like playing games on this because like touchpad controls, it's not the same as like the button inputs on a controller.
Right. The tactile feel.
Right. It'll never be replaced in my opinion. So in that regard, like, as simple as that, I can't justify paying full price for it. Now there are like, extra equipment and Bluetooth devices where you could use a full controller, but then it's like, why don't I just play it on my console or on my PC on my amazing, like either my amazing TV or my PC monitor? Like, why don't I just do that? Like, I would much rather do what I've been doing than to, try to substitute that with iOS games.
Right.
What about you?
Yeah. Right now, no. In 5 years from now, it's possible. But today, no. I mean, because like you're saying, the control issues, getting it on your TV, and the fact that most times the games that are the full version of games that are coming out on phones are a couple of years old. I've probably already played it or have it if I was going to bother playing it on the phone anyway. So as of right now, no. Maybe sometime in the future is possible.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't really see it as a value. I mean, it's a cool substitution, and that's the thing about most mobile games, in my opinion. It is not meant to replace console gaming, at least in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly used for like a quick session. Like you're in the restroom or sitting on a bus, you're waiting for something.
Right.
You pull out your phone, play a couple rounds of Candy Crush, and then you're done.
Right.
It's not really used for like prolonged hours of play.
Exactly.
Because then you got to
your
worry about
battery's dead.
your battery, number one, and then it's like other things that can kind of just like break the immersion. So like if you're playing a game and you got to answer a text or pick up your phone every 10-20 minutes, like that doesn't really like, I don't know, I couldn't do it.
Right. Yeah. That issue itself, because your phone, especially your phone, not necessarily a tablet as much, but your phone is such an integral part of what you do every day, all day, from notifications, from messages, phone calls, emails, and all the other stuff that you have going on. It can be a bit disruptive if you're trying to play any kind of game, especially anything immersive.
Right. Yeah. Same. I agree with that 100%. So we'll get to more of this later on in the show. There is a story that revolves around this icebreaker question. But if you have a question that you would like to ask us, either on the weekly icebreaker or in our Q&A section, that we take live questions, just reach out to us on social media. If you're watching us live, you can add your questions into the chat and we'll address those live here on the show. Just use the hashtag if you're going to reach out to us on Twitter. Just use the hashtag ask AWGNS, Ask a Weekly Gaming News Show, and just put your questions out there. We would love to interact with you guys and see exactly, what kind of questions we can answer for you. Keep it gamer related though.
Yes, gamer related, please.
Gamer related questions, but any question in that regard. And with that said, we can go ahead and move on to the next segment of the podcast, which is going to be our quick hits. These are short little rapid fire stories that don't necessarily deserve a deep dive or anything like that, but there are stories that we want to talk about that deserve to be talked about with you guys. So, Boogie, I'm going to let you go ahead and start. What's our first quick hit?
Pokemon Go got an update. It's a pretty interesting update this past week. I think it was the 21st is when it started rolling out. Everybody should have it by now. It's iOS only. It's not Android. And when Apple launched the iPhone 8, iPhone 10, or iOS 11, I should say, is when it came out with, they launched what they call the AR kit. It's advanced augmented reality that's using a bunch of sensors and stuff in the phone to, make a better augmented reality experience, and that's where Apple is going with their VR push. They want to do AR more than VR. Right. But Pokemon Go got an update to take advantage of the Apple's AR Kit API, and the difference is that as it stands now, Pokemon is a fairly crude example of AR. And basically, if you use the AR feature, you're looking through your camera, and they'll superimpose a Pokemon based on what your camera is seeing. So if you point it at your car, a Pokemon will show up in front of your car.
Right.
Well, with the advanced AR kit, the Pokemon actually wouldn't just be standing on, floating on the door of your car. He would actually stand on top of your car.
Right.
It'll be aware of an object, and it'll react to that object and as appropriate. And it's even to the point where you can they added an extra feature. It's called Expert Trainer, and if you can sneak up or walk and get closer to the Pokemon, and they become aware of you, and they'll be alerted and run away.
Right. So it's like you can actually see the Pokemon, the wild Pokemon in the area, instead of the little shadows or whatever that'll just show up on the screen. I haven't played Pokemon Go in quite some time.
I haven't touched it. And I downloaded the update, and I meant to get into it, and just so I can have a first-hand account, but I forgot about it. Didn't have time. Maybe for next week we can do a quick update, and we can get your first impressions of the new update. Take a look at it. I do want to take a look. It's interesting. I would like to see how it actually works, because that what they explained in the Pokemon Go update and how the Pokemon are going to be working is a much more accurate depiction of what augmented reality can and should be, as opposed to what Pokemon Go is currently on Android right now. So it'd be interesting. I think it's kind of cool that they did that. I definitely want to just mess around with it. It's just hard for me to try to mess with Pokemon Go, because I'm over Pokemon Go.
Yeah. No, Pokemon Go, I mean, to this day, it still has a pretty vast, amount of players. And there's plenty of content that they can add to that game with the multiple generations. I think they've only gotten up to Gen 2. I don't think they've released any Gen 3 yet.
I'm not sure.
I don't believe they've started with Gen 3, but I mean, they have so many Pokemon, so many legendaries, so many events that they can possibly do. I mean, this game doesn't really seem like it's going anywhere anytime soon. And with the winter holidays going on. You got plenty of people that are willing to go outside in the freezing cold and look for fictional
Pokemon.
fictional
Right. It wasn't
cartoon characters.
It wasn't a mistake that they had this update ready for the Christmas holidays.
Yeah.
Because what happens? Two things are happening. People are off from school and work.
Mm-hmm.
And two, people are getting iPhones for Christmas. Like it or not, iPhone is still a popular device. And there's going to be a lot of kids that's getting iPhone 8s, iPhone 7, iPhone 8, and iPhone 10, which are the only ones that work with. I'm not sure if the 6S does. I know 7, 8, and 10 do. 6S, I can't be for sure.
Right.
I will have to go back and check and see if the AR kit is compatible with it. But a lot of people are getting those devices, and this is something they can get out and try.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And this is actually good news coming out of Apple, because I don't know if you heard that story about them like intentionally slowing down your phones.
Oh yeah. I read
That's
that.
pretty crazy. It's like everybody's suspicions came true. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, well, it's a little more to it than just that headline, but
I know that, but
they need. The problem is they need to be transparent, and the fact that they hid it is a huge problem. Anytime you hide something like that, that's the problem.
Yeah,
not necessarily that you're doing it because they had a good reason to. Is that you're not telling me you're doing it,
right? And we're gonna talk about some of that in regard to another one of our favorite companies a little later in the show. So look out for that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next quick hit. And this time we're talking about Activision and Transformers. It seems like all of the Transformers video games have been removed from the PSN and Steam stores.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just letting you go. I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's most likely there hasn't been any official word at the time of this podcast, but it appears as if some kind of like license agreement has come to an end. So just pretty much all of the games, and we have a list here that we can show you. Just about all of the games and their DLC, their downloadable content, have been removed from the PSN and Steam storefronts. They are currently still available on the Xbox side of things, but that may not be the case for much longer. The games on the list here are Transformers War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, Rise of the Dark Spark, what else? And Devastation, which was the most recent one. I believe that one came out in 2015. And I actually
that was actually a pretty good one. That one was reviewed really well.
Yeah, and it was made by the guys over at Platinum Games, which is interesting because another Platinum Games video game, The Legend of Korra, is also being removed from the same storefronts.
Right.
So most likely a licensing issue. Go ahead.
The Legend of Korra is an anime as well, correct?
No, that's a Nickelodeon cartoon.
It's a cartoon, okay.
Yeah, it's a cartoon on Nickelodeon. Yeah. Transformers is I'm not sure who distributes that, who has the distribution rights, because you see Transformers on a couple of different channels. Yeah. So I'm not sure if it's just like a Nickelodeon thing, or if it's just something else. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure.
They lost a license to both of these, or it could be that even though it's distributed on Nickelodeon and wherever else, the one company does control the license and they have separate distribution deals. Who knows? But it seems that all this is licensed content, so it seems like it's definitely a license expiration. I mean, I just checked the Xbox store while you're talking. They're still up on the Xbox store.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm assuming they'll come down sooner than later.
Yeah, sooner or later, unless Xbox is putting up some money to keep these games, available. I don't know how many people are just like clamoring for Transformers games out there.
Exactly.
But it's always unfortunate when you see, especially like in large mass, like games just being like removed from storefronts. You like to think that this vast online library of games is going to be always available. But when those agreements end, they got to go. The same thing happened for the Marvel games back
the Ultimate Alliance, right around the time.
Well, Ultimate Alliance came down. I believe all of the Capcom Versus games came down.
Versus games, yeah.
Yeah, all of those games were like no longer available, and it took Activision. They had to do a re-release of the game, and I think that is what in turn like reinitiated the deal or whatever, so that they could distribute it again. But yeah, a lot going on behind the scenes. Hopefully they'll come up with some kind of word going forward. Maybe they don't. Maybe going forward, Activision won't be making the Transformers games. That's you never know.
That's a real possibility. Yeah, and to be clear, for all you guys out there, if you already own these games, you're not affected. You're going to continue. You'll still be able to play them. It's just you'll no longer be able to purchase them.
Right, but here's my question, and this has happened to me before, where I've purchased a game and then removed it from my hard drive, and then there was no way for me to get it back.
You won't be able to get it,
Yeah, so if you remove it from your hard drive or from your library, if you're on PSN, that thing is gone.
It's gone, yeah.
It's gone forever, so,
if you kept your copy of it, if it's still installed, or you have it saved somewhere where you can access it directly, you can get it, but it's no longer on servers for you to download.
Right. Yeah, that happened to me on Xbox when... For some reason, the original Double Dragon wasn't available anymore, and like I had purchased it, and it was just gone. Because I had deleted it from my hard drive. So be careful out there. Keep all your digital games on your hard drive if you can, because you never know when a license agreement might just end, and then you won't be able to get any more.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, that was our quick hits. Let us know what you think about these stories. Do you have any Transformers games? If so, what's your favorite? Mine is going to be Devastation. That's the only one that I really played. Have you played any Transformers games?
I have not played a Transformers game. Not interested in playing any Transformers game, which is funny because Transformers growing up was one of my favorite cartoons.
Yeah, Transformers is the jam.
I enjoy the movie. People say what you want. They're okay for what they are.
Yeah. So moving on, we're going to go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast, which is the top 5 news stories for this week. But before we do that, I do want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, the homies over at New Challenger Discord. If you go to newchallenger.gg, you can get good at your favorite fighting game with your favorite fighting game character or team of characters, because the New Challenger Discord supports Street Fighter V, Injustice 2, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Tekken 7, and with future releases like Dragon Ball FighterZ. If you want to get good at fighting games, this is the place for you to start. Go to newchallenger.gg, join the Discord, and start picking some people's brains, because they have group coaching, individual one-on-one coaching. They also support bi-weekly tournaments with actual prizes, and just an awesome environment for anybody that's looking to get into the fighting game community for the very first time. Also hit those guys up on Twitter at New Challenger TV, and go to their Twitch channel, because they do have weekly content that they post live, where like the beginner breakdown, where they take a user submitted match or video and break it down, and telling you what you're doing wrong and what you can improve on. So again, that's newchallenger.gg. Shout out to Mr. Vinegar, who is the founder of the Discord server, and also shout out to Mount Lover, who is a friend of the podcast. He's the one that designed our beautiful overlay that you see before you. He's also a commentator, a moderator, and a coach for Street Fighter V over on the Discord channel. So big ups to those guys. Thank you guys for sponsoring the channel. And let's go ahead and move on to the top 5 news stories. And we're just going to start things off with my favorite topic. Every single month, I like to talk about the games with gold that are coming out for the month. And for January, the games have been released, and we got a mixed bag, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't too excited with pretty much anything that's on this list. I'm not to say they're bad games. It's just I'm not excited about them.
Right, not bad games, but not really like too excited about any of them. If we're gonna just go down the list here, we have 2 games on Xbox One and also 2 games on Xbox 360. Those 2 which are playable on Xbox One via the backwards compatibility. So starting off with Xbox One, we have The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing, which will be available starting January 1st and will go through to the
15th.
To the 15th. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, the 1st to the 15th. This game looks like
it's the 31st.
Yeah, the first to the 31st. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, this is a pretty interesting game. It kind of reminds me of like Diablo or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So cool little action RPG game. Not too much to say about it. The next game on the list is Zombie from the guys over at Ubisoft, and I believe that this was a Wii U exclusive for some time,
for a while, yeah, because they played up all of they had some kind of special controls with the actual Wii U tablet,
yeah. So it's weird to see this coming out as or I didn't even know that it came out as an individual title, but
they released it I think right around the time a year before the Wii U went away, going away. When the writing was on the wall that the Wii U was going away, they released it for Xbox and PlayStation. From my understanding, it should be on both.
Right.
It was like a year or so after release on the Wii, I guess.
Yeah. So they basically just took out the U, and now it's just Zombie. And now this looks like your standard affair, first person zombie survival horror game.
Yeah.
Nothing much to say about it. It does look interesting. I might actually check this one out.
I might give this one a go.
Yeah. And on the 360 side, we have Tomb Raider Underworld, which takes place in the previous continuity before the
Rise series.
Before the Rise series. So this was one of the last, if not the last, in that continuity of the Tomb Raider games. I actually already own this one. It's not a bad game, but like I said, it took place in the previous freaking continuity.
Right.
So it was kind of like an evolution of how Tomb Raider used to be, So the controls are a little wonky, because if you've ever played Tomb Raider 1 on PlayStation, you know that the controls for back then was kind of like tanky.
Yeah.
And this tried to, not steer too far away from what people knew from the originals while trying to. It was just weird. And then next after that we have Army of Two, which is just the most generic third-person shooter I think I've ever played.
I remember when EA first brought this out. They had a whole big marketing push and how great this game was going to be. I actually had this game and I played through it. I'm pretty sure I played through it with my brother. It's just a ham fest of cliches.
Yeah, it's super generic, super bro fist bump, just not the best in my opinion.
Its only redeeming quality is that it has a really interesting or a really good co-op.
Yeah, the co-op system is pretty dope. So that's like the only redeeming factor.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty weird how many Army of Two games came out. Because I didn't think that this one was particularly.
It was 3, right?
Yeah, it was 2 more after this one.
And 2 more, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's free, so check it out. Out of all of them, I think I might want to just try the 2 Xbox One games, Van Helsing and Zombie. I might try those 2 out. What about you?
Yeah, I'm in agreement of both of them. I might try to talk my brother into doing the Army of Two. It's free, just for nostalgia. The Tomb Raider, it's no chance. I've been spoiled by Rise and the Tomb Raider and Rise of, so I can't. There's no way.
Yeah. Going back to those games is pretty rough. I'm not even going to lie. But so those are your games for gold. Those will be available starting January 1st. All you have to do is just when you go into your Xbox, your dashboard, games for gold, you get them right away.
Yep.
4 free games. Let's go ahead and move on to the next story. What we got?
We got Civilization 6 showing up on iOS, and it's not a watered down version. It's not Civilization 6 mobile. It is the full version of Civ 6. On iOS is mainly designed for an iPad. Although I'm not sure if you can play it on an iPhone. I didn't try. I haven't downloaded it either. I know it's almost, I think it's 3 gigs, 2.7 or 3.7 gig game available. They've customized some of the controls for touch. on the iPad. The interesting thing is with this, and this is partly where Icebreaker came from. It's a full $60 game.
Yeah,
It's not. It's not $19.99 like XCOM was when they released XCOM for iOS. It's fully $60 now. Right now, until sometime in January 2nd, I want to say, but let me double check my notes. But I know for the first 2 weeks of release, it's on sale for half price. So right now, today, if you were to download it, you can get it for $30. It's until January 4th. After January 4th, it's going to be a full $60 game. It is a full piece port of the PC Linux version of Civilization 6, so you're not losing any features. But yeah, full version, full price.
Yeah, I've never really been a Civ fan. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, is this something that you would partake in? Have you ever played Civilization?
I've played Civilization. It's okay. I do like those type of games. I won't say I don't enjoy them. I do like them. I like Civilization. I always thought it was a little bit more complicated than it needed to be. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I didn't get it on PC. It's really a low chance that I would try it on my iPad. I just is interesting because people have tried. I mean, we just talked about this last year with Super Mario Run, right? A $10 iOS game that didn't fare well. So it'd be interesting to see how this $60 iOS game is going to run. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like when it comes to like full price, like $60 games on your iPhone, do they still expect for things to go the way of the mobile game marketplace? Like, are they still expecting to get those microtransactions out of you? Like, I'm not sure how Civ works.
There's no microtransactions. It's just a full price game. Your full price, full version of the game. And like I said, I don't think you can play this on your iPhone. You might be able to, but I highly doubt it. They specifically say it's released for the iPad. Yeah. And the iPad is very much powerful, especially the newest one they just released, the iPad Pro 10 point whatever. I think it's the iPad Pro 10 something. I forgot what it's called, but right. It's definitely powerful enough for sure. And even the phones that they have, the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 10 would be powerful enough to run the game fairly decently. But it's just who's interested in playing this, who wants to play Civilization on you. I guess it's something to take with you. Yeah,
the gameplay definitely, plays well to, being able to sit it down for a while and then pick it back up whenever. Right. So, I don't know. That's something that I would personally be interested in. But yeah, like you said, I'm very interested to see how, how people take to a $60 game on iPad.
Right, because I mean, there's been like, especially since the iPad Pro came out, the one with the pencil. Yeah, there's been people that's tried to release full price versions of software, like editing software. What do you want to call it? OCR, optical character recognition, OCR software, where it transcribes your handwriting to type text. There's been people that have tried to sell those versions of it, and it just seems like $10 to $15 is what people like to sit on iPad and iOS. They don't like to go much more than that, and even then, the app has to be robust. Right. And a lot of these companies, what they've done, and I have a couple of photography apps that I use, and what they do is they'll release an app and they'll release it for $5 or $10, and it's loaded with microtransactions. Like if you want this filter, or if you want to be able to do these type of layers, or if you want to do this particular feature, it's an add-on for $5 here and add. So eventually when you get the whole bundle, it's $60, the same price that it would be if you bought it on a PC.
So it's basically you're getting a scaled down version of it with the opportunity to get the full version, quote unquote, for increments.
For for the full price, the price they were going to originally sell it for. And
I don't know.
If you look at it, if you look at it as in they're nickel and diming you, like, oh well, you should have given me this and all of this. And I forget the app, because I had an app like that and I was getting mad because I was like, the app was $10 and it was like $5 for this, $6 for that. But everywhere I looked for the app, it's like $80 if I wanted to buy it on PC. And there was no version, no option to pick and choose, where on the iPad, if I picked and choose, I actually can get the app to do what I wanted to do for like $35. So I mean, there's that option. But as far as the game goes, I don't. Civilization, you can't really piece it out like that. So
No.
it's either going to be full price or not, right? So it'll be interesting to see how the community takes to this. I know a lot of people try stuff on iOS because iOS users tend to spend more in the App Store. There's been studies out there that iOS users spend more money in the App Store than Android users do for whatever reason.
Yeah, because Android users got Google, so they be just downloading apps. They don't even pay for it.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see how this does. I'll keep my eye on it and see if there's any additional news that comes out. Keep an eye open for that price drop, because again, the game is 2 years old, right? It came out in 2015 on PC.
Yeah.
It hit Linux in 2000 last year in October, so it's not like it's a brand new game.
Right? Is it still running for $60 on Steam or wherever they're selling it?
It's been. I mean, you've seen it. I've seen it on sale a couple of times, but yeah, it hovers around that $60 full price.
Yeah,
it's a popular game, super popular. I mean, people that play Civ, and they don't really care paying $60 for it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like when it first come out, you don't mind, but 2 years after, and then on your iPad, get out of here. I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. I think just by the sheer reason that it's a scaled down game, like it's literally scaled down to fit on an iPad.
The thing is, it does actually work with AirPlay, so you can actually beam it to your TV if you have an Apple TV.
Okay.
So I mean that's available for you as well. So you can, in theory, you can play it in your living room on your 60-inch big screen, as opposed to playing it on your 24-inch computer monitor. So I mean, that's a possibility too. So I mean, there's a lot of things going for it. It's just the fact that people aren't used to paying $60 for software out of an iOS app store.
Right. So we'll keep our ears to the street and see exactly how people react to it.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to the next story.
Psychonauts 2 was delayed by Double Fine.
Double Fine. Yeah, these are the guys behind Psychonauts 2, a lot of other games like what was it, the Grim Fandango or something like that?
Yeah, Grim Fandango, yeah.
A lot of highly regarded games come from this studio, and I believe Psychonauts 2 is a crowdfunded game.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's where the delay came from. They were giving an update to their backers.
Okay. So I've never played Psychonauts, but I have heard from multiple sources that it's one of the best games ever made.
Yeah, it's a fun platformer. Yeah,
it's up there.
I'm surprised because this is right up your alley.
Really? Yeah, I don't know. I just never really got it. Like, what did they come out on originally? What did the first game?
360. I'm pretty sure it's 360 PlayStation 3. Yeah.
Let me
double check.
Yeah, I'm checking it out right now. Oh damn, you can get 90% off of Psychonauts on Steam right now.
Oh, really?
That's the first thing that came up on Google. Yeah, you can get it for $1. I'm about to buy it.
Wow.
All right, so I'm going to buy Psychonauts after the stream is over and go ahead and give that a play.
Yeah, it's a good game. It's fun. It's interesting, and the thing is, the characters are interesting and engaging. They're memorable. So I mean, I think you'll like it. It's fun. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And again, this delay, they basically what happened is the game director came out and said, hey, we made our first playable version, and we saw that to build what we want to build in scale and scope, we're going to need much more time. And that's basically what they said. They said if we release the game in 2018, like we said, it's not going to be any good, and it's going to take us some time. The only issue I have with this delay is that there's no word on when it's coming.
They said 2019 at the earliest, but
yeah, at the earliest.
No month date or anything like that.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, they said that's at the earliest. I mean, that doesn't mean any date. They can easily push it to 2020.
Yeah. It could be like November 2019. Like, there's no way to know. But I don't know, with how highly regarded the first game is, I don't think that them taking their time on this is a bad thing.
No.
I have come to actually enjoy the sound of like we're delaying it to make it better. Because there's been too many instances where a game has been rushed out and just released in a way that, you know, people just didn't expect, especially when it comes to crowdfunded games.
Exactly.
Because we've had crowdfunded games that could have used an extra few months or even an extra couple of years in the oven that came out in a form that, you know, people were upset with.
Mighty Number 9, anybody?
Yes, that's exactly what I was talking about. I mean, a lot of people said Yooka-Laylee could have used some more time as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was previously planned to be released in Q3 of 2018, but it's been pushed back to 2019 at an unknown date. Psychonauts is a very you know, highly sought after franchise. A lot of people have been wanting a sequel for a long time. The original came out when?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah,
I just had
I just had it up too. Yeah, I probably should have just left it. The original came out in 2005.
Yeah, so that would have been a 360 title, right? No,
Xbox, original Xbox, PS2.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, yeah, I'm not mad at this. You can hardly be mad when somebody comes out and is just upfront with you. Hey, this is what we have. It's not going to be in the way that we think you should have it, or by the time frame that we set. And you know, that's always been like a really like tough thing for developers. I feel like is like, you know, having these time constraints, man. That has ruined a lot of games, like freaking like windows, like release windows. Like we need it out by this time. Like that has ruined some games, especially in the last couple of years.
Yeah, like the last couple of months.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just I was thinking, like just this year alone, we've had some games that have released in unfavorable
that needed some more time in the oven.
Yeah, just needed some more time. Yeah. So, yeah. Can't be mad at it. I'm gonna go ahead and buy Psychonauts 1 for $1. And I'm gonna play it, and then hopefully it'll get me psyched for Psychonauts 2.
It's interesting. I think you'll like it.
Okay.
It's right up your alley.
I'm gonna have to give it a try. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next segment. What do we have?
So this story is brought to us by a new challenge. No, I'm kidding. Street Fighter V, Street Fighter V Arcade is coming out January 16th, and they just released an update saying that Street Fighter V Arcade, when it releases in January 16th, will come with a team versus mode. It can be up to 5-on-5. Each team has to have the same amount of players, so no 3-on-5 or no handicap matches. But there's going to be two modes. There's going to be a best of, and then there's going to be the round robin, or last man standing. Elimination is what they call it. So basically, with elimination, it's the last man standing. You start, you play until you lose, and the team with the last player wins. And the best of, each player is matched up 1-to-1, and the team that wins the most matches wins. I guess there can be ties when there's teams of 2 or teams of 4. So just make sure you have an odd number of teams if you don't want to see a tie.
Right.
But yeah. Street Fighter versus mode coming. It's something that's been around in Street Fighter. It was in Street Fighter 4, right?
Yeah, it was in Street Fighter 4, and it was definitely in the crossover, the Street Fighter Cross Tekken game.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is good, and this is something that a lot of people think that Street Fighter 5 should have came with out the gate. It's like a lot of these features are coming out now.
When I was reading the stories, I saw a lot of that in the comments. This should have shipped with the game, yeah.
Right. It's like a lot of what was in Street Fighter 4 was just stripped out of Street Fighter 5, just because they wanted to get the game out. They had the Capcom Cup, and, they get a lot of money from, like hosting tournaments and, prize pools and all of that. But, not having a lot of these basic functions like an arcade mode had Street Fighter V struggling as far as raw sales.
Right.
There's a running gag where Street Fighter V sold less copies than Pokken Tournament.
Oh wow!
And that
Is
was
that true?
Yeah, dude. We talked about this.
Oh,
You don't
yeah,
remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a running joke. You know, Pokken Tournament outsold Street Fighter V, and that was a Wii U exclusive.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Pretty damn crazy. So it's good to see that the people over at Capcom are realizing, you know, people like modes. Not everybody just wants to get online and get wrecked and just fight each other. You know, because that's pretty much what Street Fighter V came out as. You know, initially. They've added in a story mode. They've added in, well, they're going to be adding in a really advanced arcade mode where you can go through the arcade mode of different generations of Street Fighter games. So you'll have like the Street Fighter 2 arcade mode where I guess you only fight against Street Fighter 2 characters,
yeah.
and the Street Fighter Alpha, you know, and you know, so on and so forth. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I like what they're doing. Will it get more people to play it? I don't know. Like it might be a little, like, you know, too little too late for a lot of people.
Right. Well, for me, I'm going to get the arcade version when it comes out for sure.
Okay.
I have been pushing it back. Like I can't, you know, we've talked about this for, well, how long have we done this show? And I kept talking about, I'm going to get it. But having an arcade version, because like you said, I'm not one that's going to want to jump in and just get my face pounded in like 9 out of 10 matches. But me being able to play against the computer, you know, put it to a level that I'm comfortable with until I get good enough to up the level, is something I want to do. And I mean, it has the characters I like, especially now that they're adding Sagat and Blanca back.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm really, this really interests me, and I do like that they are giving the arcade version and all of these modes free to you if you already bought the game. They're not making, because in the past this would be a new release and you would have had to buy Street Fighter V again. I mean, how many times have you bought Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter Turbo, Super Street Fighter Turbo EX? I mean,
Street Fighter 2 has the Guinness World Record for re-releases of the exact same game. Version of the same game. So, you know, and that's what they said that they weren't doing going forward, because they even did that with Street Fighter 4. They had, you know, like 2 or 3 different retail releases. And if you had the game, you would have to buy the expansion or get left behind. So they, you know, they've sworn not to do that. And, you know, although this is a quote unquote relaunch or re-release of the game, they're giving it away for free if you already own it, and if you buy it, because there's gonna be a new SKU, so it's gonna be a brand new retail copy of the game is gonna include everything.
So yeah, the Street Fighter, the arcade version, and it's only gonna be $40, which is super interesting. It's $40. It's gonna get you the base game and the first 2 seasons of characters. So season 3, which is with Sagat and all of those guys coming, is an extra add-on if you wanted to do that. But
and then you can also get that with the in-game currency as well.
Exactly.
So yeah, a lot of interesting things coming out of Capcom. Only thing they need to do now is fix Marvel Infinite, and then they'll have my money in that regard. Because I refuse to buy anything titled Marvel vs. Capcom that doesn't have X-Men. I refuse.
We got 18 months, right? Disney's closing on that deal.
So we'll have to. They're gonna have to wait to get my money. I'm not doing it. But it does seem like they're playing to a lot of the fandom, bringing in a lot of characters that people like. You know, Sagat, Blanca, Sakura, Cody. Those are 4 legacy, fan favorite legacy characters. So that's dope in my opinion. Let's go ahead and move on to the next story, and that has to do with PUBG. We're talking about PUBG, and it's been in the news quite a bit. Did we talk about it last week? I don't think we talked about it last week.
No, because it hadn't released yet, right?
I guess not.
No, maybe it did. I don't remember.
I don't know. Well,
no, because released on the 12th, but we didn't talk about it because we had more interesting stuff to talk about.
So basically, PUBG has been in the news for the last couple of weeks, centered around its Xbox One launch. I'll let you go.
So PUBG released on the 12th, 12/12, for Xbox One, and released for $30. And in 2 days, they had 1 million people try the game. Now, like they specifically said, and it was in a tweet, that 1 million people tried the game. Well, you can't try the game unless you buy it because there's no free trial.
No.
So there's at least, I would say there's at least 500,000 people that bought the game. If you say that every one of them has a game share, right? Mm-hmm. so they sold quite a few copies. And that is actually pretty amazing if you think in 2 days 1 million people played the same game. And I look at my playlist, I mean, not my playlist, but my friends list right now, and it's littered with people playing PUBG. It is littered with people playing PUBG. Now the problem with PUBG is that it is in early access. People don't realize this, but PUBG on Xbox One, on PC, it just came out of early access. They just released the 1.0 version, but on Xbox, it's still in early access. So it's kind of unfinished. It's basically a paid beta.
Yeah, pretty much.
And, it's had some performance issues.
Some, yes.
Some like huge bad frame rates.
Oh
bad,
God.
Rendering. It's just aim is off. Like like I saw a video where they had a reticle literally on his head at point blank, and they weren't hitting the target. So they've had some issues. I know since the release, there's been 2 updates, and I've looked at some of the forums. My favorite place is Reddit, because it seems like Reddit is the place you get.
Oh my God, Reddit! They be doing the research. They go in on Reddit talk.
And they have noted there's some improvements, but of course, it's not there yet. I mean, if you're interested in trying,
especially what they were advertising prior, because they were talking about 60 FPS, steady frame rates and all that, and we are not even close.
But see, they when I look back at those, and it doesn't say at release, it says we're going to get the game. We're going to get there. On Xbox is what they said. So on Xbox One, the game will get to is the type of thing they're saying. So this is the beta version. It's just like it's been on PC. It's been on PC all these year and a half it's been out. All this time it's been out. People have been playing it. They haven't been playing the final release game.
No.
And right now on Xbox is not a final release game. So there's going to be hiccups. It's just disappointing that it's essentially a 1-to-1 PC port. It's disappointing that it came out with such major, especially the frame rate issues. I saw reports of people dropping like 3 to 6 frames per second.
Yeah, and it drops pretty drastically in some of the most like important sections of the game.
It's down when you're fighting with more than one person on the screen.
You better not be driving. You better not, don't sprint. Don't turn too quick.
Yeah, but eventually they get it fixed. I mean, you go try it out. 1 million people played it for a good reason, and people are still playing it.
Dude, like I've been so interested in playing PUBG. It seems like a super fun game, and the reason I was intimidated initially is because on PC, I don't play keyboard and mouse, and if you are not playing keyboard and mouse on PC, you lose. you lost. The game is stacked against you.
Let's make it pack. You get it, I get it. We'll play together.
I'm down to get it. It seems like an interesting game. I feel like I may be able to get into it, with the controller support.
Right.
But yeah, it definitely has some optimization issues.
Yeah, and there's also reports where people found out you can play, even though the game doesn't support keyboard and mouse yet. You can plug a keyboard into the Xbox, and you can get some of the PC menus in there, because it's essentially a port of the PC version.
Right.
And what they found is that on the Xbox One regular version, Xbox One S as in Sam, is running at low settings, and on the One X as in X-ray is running at medium settings.
Okay.
So eventually they've got to get that fixed. I mean, it should be medium and high, right? Or
right.
It should be low, because that's not going to work.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they definitely got some work to do. Hopefully the people over at Xbox, because I'm sure they paid a hefty amount of money to get this console exclusive.
Yeah, Xbox and Xbox. Microsoft has sent some people over to Bluehole to help them out with the port to the Xbox. So they have people working on it, and I mean, just hopefully it doesn't take a year or two.
Yeah, they just came out with the new map at the Game Awards. Remember, they showed off the new map. So
Yeah, so I think they'll get it improved faster than they did the PC version because they got Microsoft throwing money at it for them, and we'll see how that goes.
Yep, we'll see how it goes. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I feel like it may be something I can get into.
Yeah.
A nice kind of like fallback game, just jump into it anytime.
Right.
It does seem fun. You can't deny its popularity and its fun factor. You can't deny it.
And the worry, apparently Bluehole didn't much have to worry about Fortnite because it took Fortnite a couple of weeks to hit that million in I mean 2 days. That's a lot of people trying, and even if only a third of those people keep playing it, that's 300,000 people.
Yeah,
and this is,
and plus I did see, I'm not sure if this is actually added to the number, but I did see promotions for PUBG being included with Xbox One X purchases. Yeah,
yep, I saw that. And then again, this was 2 weeks before Christmas.
Right.
I mean, how many more Xbox players are going to be on it now that Christmas has passed?
Right. So we'll have to see. But hopefully it keeps climbing, and I definitely look forward to seeing like the number of comparisons between between PUBG and Fortnite. Yeah. Because I don't know, like it's definitely a numbers game when it comes to them. You need those concurrent players.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was our top 5 news stories. Let us know what you guys think on this story or any of the stories that we talked about during the show. And if you would like to submit stories to us, you can do so. If you see in the lower corner there, you can see our our social media. Go ahead and send us a message with any stories that you would like for us to discuss. And now, we'll do it live on the show. We definitely appreciate you guys. But let's go ahead and move into our next segment, our favorite segment. We're definitely not tired of talking about this, and that is This Week in Loot Boxes.
Yeah, our favorite topic.
Our favorite topic, This Week in Loot Boxes. We have a couple of stories that we want to talk about. And again, I know that loot boxes is a very drawn out and tiresome topic, but I feel like, as soon as we stop talking about it, that's right when these companies are going to think that, okay, we're over it and get back to what they've been doing.
Right.
So I feel like it's our responsibility to keep the conversation going.
Keep it going.
Keep the conversation going. So we're going to talk about 2 stories that came up in This Week in Loot Boxes.
Okay. First, let me make a note. I want to flip the stories real quick. I meant to set it before.
Okay, so we can go with, I was going to say that. We could go with that one first. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah,
okay.
because I have a lot more to say about the other.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So first up, we got a story coming out of Apple, and on Apple, on the iOS marketplace, they are requiring games to show the odds when it comes to loot boxes. Now, this is something that we talked about in terms of Overwatch in other countries. Was it China?
China. It's not just Overwatch. It's all games that have loot boxes. But they specifically mentioned Overwatch when they talked about implementing that law.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, if your game has loot boxes and it is on iOS, it is now required that you show the odds of success, I guess you should say, when it comes to those apps. Like there's no more like misleading or anything like that. You have to be pretty upfront when it comes to it.
Yeah. So the problem I have is you don't have to do it in app or in the store. It has to be on the website of the game as right now. And Apple hasn't specified exactly what they need to show, only that they need to show what's in the loot box and the odds of getting whatever is in the loot box.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's some improvement needed, especially when you...
I mean, they're just rolling it out.
Right.
So...
Yeah, but this is definitely a shot across the bow, and it'd be interesting because my concern is Apple is in a very unique place because their marketplace is strong. Everybody wants to be on the iOS store because I said this earlier in the show. People that use iOS devices spend more in the app stores than pretty much anywhere else.
Right.
So, it is easier for Apple to say, hey, look, do what we say or we're going to kick you out because those developers are going to have a problem. It's harder for, say, Sony or Microsoft to say that because if Microsoft says it and Sony doesn't, well, we're just not making that game for you, Microsoft. We're going over to Sony and vice versa.
Right.
So for it to work for us, and when I say us, I mean us gamers that are using these main consoles, you can add the Nintendo to that. We need all of them to make a concerted effort to put this type of requirement on these games.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how it's gonna like form. Like, there's definitely a work in progress because, like you said, like right now they don't have to display it in game. I'd be very pressed to find somebody that will be willing to put the odds in the game if they're like considerably like unfavorable.
Right.
You know, because it would basically diminish the chances of somebody actually wanting to purchase it.
Wanting to buy a loot box, exactly.
Right. It's like if you see a loot box and there's something that you want is listed as like, 0.2, 0.5%. It's like, are you really going to run that gamble?
Well,
I mean, I'm not a gambling man, but
right.
I would think like 0.2% is very unlikely that I'm going to get what I want.
But see, there's an this is not how I think, and I don't recommend this, but there's the other thinking too, where it's like, okay, in this loot box, I can get this pink shirt. Is the odds says I have 1 in 50 chance for me to get it. So if I buy 50 loot boxes, I'm guaranteed to get it. And so there's going to be people that think like that as well. So, I mean, there's two sides to that coin. So a developer could benefit from that where, I know I can get this particular skin. It's going to take me, I can guarantee that myself that I get it in 25 loot boxes. So let me buy 25 loot boxes. I should get it. Now, the problem would be if they don't get it, that's a huge problem. But if they set up the system where, okay, every 25 boxes, we're going to guarantee that this particular item drops, and the person gets it, it's a win for both of them, I guess.
Yeah, I was about
for the wallet.
I was about to say, like what if programmers actually like go in and like what the algorithm like does that specific thing. It's like, well, you need 25 because like the odds are still stacked against the consumer.
Yeah, the odds will always be stacked against the consumer. Yes, right. But I mean, there is that. I mean, there's that there is that side of the coin where, like you said, if you put the odds on and the odds are daunting, you look at them, well, I'm just never buying a loot box. Or somebody that says, okay, this is going to take me this many loot boxes and I should get it in that many loot boxes, so I'm going to buy that amount of loot boxes. So there's both sides of the coin, but I think to protect the consumers, for us going in blind, that's like going to buy a car and not being able to see what it looks like or drive it. You're just like, okay, I'm going to buy the car. Here's my money. And all of a sudden, a curtain drops and you got a car. Yeah. Maybe it has 4 wheels. Maybe it has 3. Maybe it has a windshield. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows, right? Yeah. So it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Step in the right direction, but there's still plenty of ways that this can be played against the consumer.
Where there's a way, the business will find it.
Yeah.
The companies will find a way to always,
come out on top.
Yeah. Take those screws to us. But I do like that they're doing this. I would like to see the major platforms, including PC games, Steam, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo should make this type of requirement. Because to be quite honest, if they don't, somebody will. And we know who that somebody is.
Yeah, the government.
The black suits. Exactly.
Men in black, they come in with the neuralizers. We have one more story, and this has to do with Bungie, man. They just cannot keep their names out of the news cycle when it comes to loot boxes. They've been getting a lot of bad press over the last few weeks. And during the holiday season, you would think that it would slow down, but it doesn't. Like, they get no breaks.
So, since the DLCs come out, Bungie has really screwed the pooch. These summer bitches.
Yeah.
So, Bungie have seasonal events, just like Overwatch has seasonal events, and other games have seasonal events. They have a Christmas event called the Dawning.
Yep.
And basically, it's Christmas spirit. You run around the tower, the social space, you get presents, and so on and so forth. And the way it worked last year, because they did it the first time last year on the original Destiny.
The original game, yeah.
And just like any other game out there, Overwatch included, when there's a holiday event and it involves loot boxes, your standard loot boxes become holiday loot boxes.
Right.
And they drop both holiday items and standard items.
Right.
They did it last year with the Ingrams. Um, this year they decided that the Dawning event is going to have its own branch of microtransactions. And beyond that, you only can earn 3 boxes a week, and 3 boxes a week per account, not per character. So if you have 3 characters, it doesn't matter. You're still only getting three boxes. And conversely, Overwatch is having their winter event. Their loot boxes have been converted from the standard loot boxes to the holiday loot boxes, and you can earn as many of those as your little heart can content. If you play Overwatch and you put in the time and you level up and you get your loot boxes, you keep getting loot boxes. In Destiny, you only get 3. And
with how limited the event is,
it's 3 weeks.
It's 3 weeks. Like, you're not gonna you don't have enough time to earn all of them. Like,
no, it's not possible.
It's not possible.
There's 58 unique items, 58 or 59 unique items that are in there. Including full armor sets for all 3 classes. So if you have all 3 classes, that's 5 pieces of armor: helmet, shoulders, chest, legs, and a class item. So 5, and each class has 2 class items, so that's 6. So that's 18 items where you only can get half of that. You only can get 9, and that's if every time you open one of your earned loot boxes, you don't get a duplicate, and you get the armor piece. And they littered it also with a bunch of like shaders. They littered it with sparrows and ships, a bunch of other
and
stuff.
It's actually weird because shaders are one-time use items.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of crazy that you would have a limited edition item that once used is gone forever.
It's gone forever. Yep.
This is weird.
And to compound this, to make this even worse, so with Destiny's loot box system, if you get something out of one of their loot boxes, you break it down, it breaks down to something like called Bright Dust. And you can use Bright Dust to buy like the loot box purveyor. Her name is Tess. She actually sells individual items that normally drop out of those loot boxes for this Bright Dust. If you get stuff out of loot boxes, you break them down, it turns into Bright Dust. But there's also like a stack of gifts that every day you go, you get a gift and you get an item out of it. And some of those items are the same items you get out of the normal loot boxes. But cheap-ass Bungie made those items break down into common materials as opposed to Bright Dust. And typically, like, if you get a shader, you break it down. I think you get anywhere between 3 and 9 Bright Dust for a shader. Now it breaks down to, like, weapon parts and shards. So, and in your inventory, they stack separate. So, I mean, they went out of their way just to make sure they entice people to spend money. And they knew people were going to bitch because they all went on vacation. Nobody's working at Bungie. They're not coming back until next year. So, this is the worst, absolute worst way to treat your community. The worst way to implement any kind of loot box system. It's just the worst of the worst.
Right. Yeah, and they're not coming back till next year. The community manager basically said on Twitter, like, we hear you. We're gonna address it when we come back to work.
I think he had that. I think he had that tweet scheduled.
Yeah, that was a scheduled tweet.
That was a scheduled tweet. He knew. He's like, I see what they're doing, and I feel bad for Deej because he doesn't have any input. He just has to work as the liaison between these the two groups, the community and the developers. And
right.
And I'm sure he's like, this is what you guys are going to do. So, okay, so I give it 5 days, and after 5 days, it's probably going to explode. So let's auto schedule this tweet, and hopefully they leave me alone until I come back.
Yeah, but they're off to vacation.
Right. So it's just bad. I mean, they've done so much so wrong. It's so fast
with this game.
Yes.
And man, I don't know, dude. Like, if you are on the fence about Destiny 2, I would just advise against it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big, how big a Destiny fan I am. And I would tell anybody out there that's thinking about buying Destiny 2, go get something else. I mean, it's no reason if you don't already own this game, don't buy it. The only reason I'm playing it is because I bought the game. I bought the DLC,
the season pass,
the collector's edition, with the season's pass. So I want to get my little play of or Trials of whatever this one is. I think I got a couple more items to get. Once I get those, I'm going to shelve it until the next DLC comes out. And then after that, I'm not going to say I'm not going to buy it, but the likelihood is very, very low of me continuing in this game because, I mean,
they don't know, like this whole like loot box system has gotten out of control and nobody really knows how to manage it. I mean, we've seen companies, overstep their boundaries. We have this whole situation going on right now.
Pay for play with the Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Right. And in the midst of all of this, Bungie is just going about this in the absolute wrongest of ways.
And the thing is this, if this game was Star Wars, it would be a lot more people talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
If this game was a Harry Potter game or it's just something more popular, a more popular IP, if it's a Marvel game or something, the heads will be rolling. But because it's their own IP and it's only known internally to gamers, people outside of this, Fox News is not going to talk about this. MSNBC or CNN, they're not going to talk. They talked about Star Wars Battlefront. They're not going to talk about this because nobody knows what Destiny is. So that's why they're able to get away with it. But it doesn't make what they're doing any less of a problem than what EA did. I think it's just as bad, if not worse, than what EA was doing.
Yeah, and it's going to be up to the community to voice their opinions and voice their outrage when it comes to these practices. Because if they can get away with it, they are going to keep getting away with it. So I don't know, man. I've made my decision when it comes to Destiny 2. I don't plan on getting it. So this isn't something I have to worry about personally, but it just goes to show you, because if Bungie can get away with it, if Activision sees that it works, they'll do it with another game. And there's no telling when a practice like this will reach a franchise that you like. Right. Because we have some bangers coming out next year. Who wants to deal with this when it comes to Red Dead, or when it comes to like Spider-Man. Or something like that? Nobody wants to deal with this in their respective franchise, and I feel bad for Destiny 2 players, man, because they have been going through the freaking ringer since launch. They've been going through the ringer,
and Bungie's just been they've been as transparent as a brick wall. It's just like, okay, we hear what you're saying and we're going to do something about it maybe next year. I mean, here's an instance. They released this item. It's an item called 3 of Coins. And basically what it's supposed to do is increase your drop rates. Well, they released
my God, the 3 of Coins. I forgot about that.
They released it and it's broken. And they're not going to fix it till sometime in January 2018. And that's been broken since in early December. But when the gun was broken and people were getting too many kills with that, they fixed that in a week.
Yeah.
So you see when it's beneficial for the company, or if it's doing something the company doesn't like, they fix it quickly. If it's a problem for the player, it just sits there until whenever we get to it. Right. And that just right there, that little thing right there shows you that at least it makes people feel like you don't care for them as a community.
No, you care about the money. As long as the money's flowing in, you'll deal with the community when it's convenient for you. But if something is messing up the money, you're going to fix it right away.
Right.
Yeah. So the last thing I want to talk about with Destiny 2 is the campaign going on the official Bungie forums called Remove Eververse. Why don't we go into that for really quick?
Yeah. So yeah, basically Eververse is what it's their loot box system. It's Test Eververse is the loot box, and on the Bungie forums, I think it's up to 2 pages now. The first 2 pages of the Bungie forums are post that says remove Eververse from the game. People are just extremely upset, and it's brought on again by this dawning event. The fact that they separated out the loot boxes that you can't earn to get the items in the special event, and on top of that, Bungie made some of the items in this special event some of the most desirable items in the game, especially for collectors. It's some of the prettiest, best looking stuff in the game, and to say there's 58 pieces, but we're only going to give you 9, and you got to buy the rest. That's like 2 middle fingers, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a few middle fingers.
That's the purple dildo without Vaseline. I mean, it's just it's horrible. It's horrible. And to be quite honest, all I can say is that they don't care.
They don't care, man.
They give you the community the words. Oh, we care. Oh, we love our community. But what they are doing shows that they really, really don't. The only reason it's not like this on Reddit is because the Reddit mods remove them immediately to remove Eververse. But yeah, it's now 3 pages. It looks like the first 3 pages on the Bungie forums are remove Eververse.
Yeah. So
it's a joke, and I don't know what they're gonna do when they come back. I mean, this is the same group that canceled the live stream event because they didn't want to deal with the backlash of what they did. So
it's super interesting, man.
Good Bungie seems to have been they're gone. There's no such thing as good Bungie anymore.
Yeah, and see, since I've been so disconnected from Bungie and their core fan base, I was under the impression, like I'm still thinking this is the same Bungie that did the Halo series. We are very far removed from that studio.
Yep.
It seems like.
Yep.
But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, this isn't the last we're going to hear of loot boxes. It definitely isn't the last we're going to hear on Destiny 2. So when everything comes back, once the new year begins, I await to see their response. We'll have to see what happens because they have a lot to deal with, man.
Oh yeah, I will definitely know what's going on because I keep my ear on the desk because, like I said, I still play it, and even when I'm I also get pulled in by clanmates because I do like my clan. It's fun playing with them because a lot of times we're not talking about the game, we just ribbing each other, talking shit, just shooting the shit. That's cool. I enjoy it for that and those people, but the game itself is just, what's the point?
Right. Yeah. You're you're in a battered relationship if you're freaking still playing Destiny 2 right now. You are in a broken and battered relationship, man.
Yeah.
Just get out, man. Get out. Don't spend no money on this. But that was this week in loot boxes. Let us know what you think about this story, especially if you're a Destiny 2 player. I highly, highly want to, pick your brain and know what it is or how it is that you think about the current state of Destiny 2. Just so you guys know, we do have a section in the podcast where we take questions and give answers, like a live Q&A section. Leave your comments in the chat, and they'll be addressed live on the show in the live Q&A section where we're trying to collect questions for you guys so that we can just present them to you. You can also hit us up on social media as well. But with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next segment, and that's going to be the long form discussion.
Yes.
And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's kind of a branch off of what we discussed during the weekly icebreaker as well as the Civ story. So go ahead and introduce that, and let's go ahead and break it down.
So our long form today is the question is, how worried should the big three? When I say the big three, I'm talking about Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. How worried should they be about iOS and Android invading the full price game market?
Right.
And I asked this question because obviously Civ 6 is out there now, but that's the first. It's probably not going to be the last. And when you look at these mobile devices, the iPads and the Android phones, when you look at the Galaxy Note 8s, the Galaxy Note 8 or the iPhone 10. And you look at the Google Pixel 2 and the amount of power in the silicon and the abilities on these phones, they certainly can play a lot of these games, at the very least coming up to last generation, right?
Right.
And the way these phones have been evolving and improving at such a rapid pace, it's only going to be a few years before they can actually be caught up to what you can get on a console. And then where would that lead are the consoles in trouble because of that? Because both Android and iOS have options and the ability to, one, cast to your TV, and two, connect control like standard traditional controllers to the phone or to your mobile device.
Right.
So I mean, my only hiccup on this would be the notifications in my real life.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm playing the game on my phone, either one, I'm getting notifications in the middle of the game, or two, the game is turning off notifications. I don't know what the hell is going on outside of me playing the game.
Right, because I was going to say that there some games, and I've seen it in a lot of recent games that I've played, there is an option to just disable notifications and calls. And I'm like, why the hell would I want to do that?
Yeah, right. The house is on fire.
I'm playing Civ.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. Yeah, that's no good.
I don't know. I really do think that consoles, in the traditional sense, you know, going out and buying a box for video gaming is in danger for a lot of different reasons. You know, the way that video games have been progressing over the last couple of years. I've said that this generation of consoles could possibly be the last one. You know, maybe one generation after this, maybe, I don't know. It's just everything is going digital, you know, and you know, I think the biggest competitor to consoles is PC. You know, with everything that Xbox has been doing, with the cross play and share play, the game anywhere features, I really do feel like the PC is the biggest competitor to it. I really don't think that iPhone and Android devices are going to play a super big part into it. I mean, they played their part, but not nearly to the magnitude that the PC market is. And just for those reasons, a lot of people's phones are their phones. You know, they're not consoles. I don't really think that a phone is going to replace a console. It doesn't have the battery life to support hours and hours of extended play. And, you know, some companies are not going to release their products on the, you know, mobile marketplace. You know, just this year, we've, you know, started getting Nintendo games on iOS. And, you know, while they're not the same thing that's on console. I mean, it's the first time that we've had officially licensed Nintendo games on your phone. Yeah, on anything but outside of a Nintendo console. Right. So I don't know, man. It might take a little while. There's definitely going to need to be. There's going to have to be something else. I don't really think that they have what it takes right now to take over.
Yeah, so I look at it. I agree with pretty much everything that you said. I think definitely PC has always been, but I think it's the other way around. I think consoles have been a competitor to PC because PC is the original gaming device, original gaming system, right? And you know they started consoles. I mean, way back to like in the '70s when gaming first started. Pong wasn't on an Atari. Pong was on a PC. It was on a big, huge mainframe, Dealy McDeal. Right. So, and they, you know, they just miniaturized it to the 2600 up through. But PC's always been the epicenter of gaming, right? It's got the best games, it's got the most exclusives, it's got everything. The most games, most exclusive, best graphics. It's been and has been everything. And you know, the consoles kind of muscled in with their ease. And then they built out a nice little niche in gaming for themselves. Right. But as the young people grow up, are coming up, I mean, phones are attached to them, essentially. I mean, 10, 12 years old, they get their first phones. And, I mean, that's what they have. And a lot of times they do everything on their phone, from homework to gaming to keeping up with people, pictures. I mean, everything, things we can't even imagine doing on the phone, they do. And I can see where in a couple of years, 4 or 5 years from now, where a phone maybe it has a battery life, maybe it doesn't. But I mean, if you're gonna game on it and you're sitting in your house, you can just always put it on a charger, right? And you'll be able to you beam it to your TV. They got that special controller, and maybe they are playing full versions of games. And the way people play games now, anyway, a lot of these indie developers are making retro type games, which are easily run on these mobile devices. I mean, it's easy to run Sonic on a mobile device, or original Super Mario Brothers, or shoot, or something like a Centipede, or something like, even something a little bit newer than that, like Crazy Taxi or Streets of Rage and stuff. That stuff is easy to run on those systems, on these devices. And when you make it easy to run and you make it easy for people to connect, if we don't have to, I think the biggest barrier right now, especially for Apple, if you want it on your TV, you have to buy another device. That's going to cost you at least $130. Android has it easier because you can just buy TVs now that have Chromecast built in. But even if you don't, you can buy a Chromecast for $30. I mean, a $30 device is much easier to talk yourself into than a $130 device. And if you can tell me that, well, I can spend $130 with something I'm always going to have anyway, and I can play games on it too, you know, why am I spending $200, $300 for a separate box that I'm going to only use for one thing?
Right.
So, I mean, I think they should be wary of the mobile devices. They definitely shouldn't ignore them.
Right.
I think Microsoft is doing the most as far as trying to insulate themselves in the future by making the Xbox a platform as opposed to a machine. That's what you talked about, like the Play Anywhere system and everything like that. Because what people hate to say is PC gaming is Microsoft.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can play on Linux and you can play on Mac or Apple or what have you, but most people, 90%, 99%, 95% of people that are gaming on their PCs are gaming on Windows devices, whether they bought a PC gaming machine, or what's more likely, especially if they're avid gaming, they built their machine. Right. They built a Windows machine. And when you look at it that way, definitely Microsoft is more insulated. But it seems to me that part of the thing that they are doing is try to head this off at the pass, because they've experienced this before. They experienced this with cell phones, right? Because they ignored the cell phone until it was too late, and now it's too late, and they couldn't get a phone out the door if they tried. Well, they did try, it didn't work. Right?
Hey, come on, man! There's still Windows phones out there. Come on now.
And I had Windows Phone when I had the HTC. What did I have? I had 3 Windows phones. I had the HTC 8X, which was the first HTC Windows phone. Then I had the Nokia Lumia Icon, and then I had the HTC One for Windows.
Okay.
And all of them were great phones, and Windows was a great operating system. It just didn't have any support.
Right.
But I go back. I think Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft need to acknowledge that there's outside pressure by mobile.
Yeah. My thing is, all right, so let me retrace my steps a bit. My thing is like, okay, the average gamer is about what? How old?
Like 32, I think.
Yeah, so our age range is where a lot of the bulk of gaming is coming from, because we came from back when it first started. Like, my first console was an NES. It's going to take a lot to get that demographic out of where they are in terms of console gaming. So that's my biggest thing, is like, yeah, they should definitely be worried, but not to the extent where, because you're not gonna drastically change the console market with mobile devices. It's not going to just come in and sweep everybody away. At least it's not gonna sweep me away.
Right.
Now, I'm sure that there's a lot of gamers that aren't going to be swept away, by the mobile market either. And what I was going at, because like you said, the consoles have been a direct competitor to PC. I really feel like we're going back to PC as the main, provider of video games.
Mhm.
I think consoles in the traditional sense is going away, but not to anywhere that we haven't already been. You know what I'm saying? I really feel like PC has definitely been, you know, rising in prominence over the last couple of years or, you know, decade or so. And I think it's going to take at least another decade before iOS, you know, does anything that could seriously change the way that we play video games. That's pretty much all that I was coming at.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm looking at some statistics right now. It looks like it was a survey that was done for the end of 2016. So these are based in 2016. So the average age of a gamer is 35. The average purchaser is 38. The number of households that own a device for playing games is about 65%. That's used for playing games. Households that own a device exclusively for video games is 48%. Where people are playing, the PC, 56% of people that are gamers, that identify as gamers, play on PC. 53% play on dedicated game consoles. 36% play on smartphone. 31% play on wireless devices, and dedicated handheld system is 17%. And you know, all these numbers are greater than 100. But basically, if you answered that and you said I play on PC, a gaming console, and a smartphone, you get ticked in each of those categories. So you can answer. You can have more than one answer per. You can have more than one device for this particular answer. That's why the numbers are so high. Look, I mean, the basic edition, where this adds up to more than 100. So I mean, and then one other thing is the average number of years you've been playing, which I think this is kind of telling. It's been 13 years. Average gamers been playing games for 13 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely it's a mature audience. It's a mature industry.
Yeah.
And I don't see, like you said, I don't see, especially when because yes, smartphones advance really quick, and in 5 years it can be very viable that a smartphone and or a tablet can be can be used as a serious competitor to what we have now with the Xbox One or PlayStation 4, even the One X and PS4 Pro. But these gaming consoles are going to have, as long as they're making them, they're going to have the benefit of size, because power can only get so small. And you got a bigger device, you can definitely stick more power into it. It's just, where's the cap at? Because right now we're at 4K, right?
Right.
Where does that cap? In 5 years, are we going to be playing 8K? And again, from 1080 to 4K is not a huge deal. Visually, what it is the ancillary feature of HDR that makes the big difference.
Right.
Is it going to be the same when you go from 4K to 8K, or from 8K to whatever's after 8K? So, I mean, you can go as many Ks as you want. It gets to a point where a person won't be able to tell the difference what they're looking at. They'll just say, okay, it looks good.
Yeah.
So then you're going to be looking at more photorealism when it comes to graphics and stuff like that, or some other kind of gimmicks. That's not loot boxes.
Yeah.
I think definitely there's a chance that in, I would say, 3 to 5 years, iOS and Android will be competitors in the console gaming market, where they will be getting full versions of games on their markets. I just don't think that they're really going to compete, because it's going to take a lot for them to start convincing people to pay $30, $40, $50, $60 for games out of the App Store. I think that's going to be the biggest
hurdle. Yeah, because like games right now are stuck in that $60 range, or console games, PC games as well. Mobile, like nobody's paying that right now. Right. Nobody's dropping 60 bones on an app for your phone. Nobody's doing that.
And we've talked about it a lot. Super Mario Run. It's Mario. It's had a hard time at $10.
Yeah, $10.
At $10. So I can't imagine, like, if you release a Call of Duty for $60 on the iPhone, that's going to be super popular.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't think so.
You get the little, oh, well, I can take it on the bus and play with you, but then what are you taking, your phone and a controller? What the hell?
Controller and a headset? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing for real?
Right, exactly. So yeah, that can be a problem. I just don't. It's not as convenient as you would think it would be where it is.
Yeah. I feel like there will be a time where they should definitely be worried. Right now isn't necessarily that time, but you can't ignore the mobile market. You definitely shouldn't. That'd probably be a big mistake, but I do not feel that Android and iOS smartphones, I don't think they have what it takes to convert long time console games or PC gamers or whatever to a solely mobile like device landscape for video games. I don't think they have what it takes right now.
Yeah, I agree. There'll
definitely be some more tech coming out in the future.
Yeah.
That will definitely change my mind. But as of right now, I feel like the dynamic between console and PC is enough of a change or whatever. Especially with this current generation. This is the first time that we've had the incremental upgrade. So there's changes that are happening within the gaming landscape right now that we're not sure how it's going to pan out.
Right.
So I feel like we have a few years of this, what we're currently going through, before we can actually get some, large change when it comes to mobile games.
Right. Yeah, and I agree. Because I think there's two major impediments or two major issues that mobile has to get over. The biggest is price in the App Store. I mean, again, people aren't going to be looking to pay $60 for an app on their phone. They're going to have to turn that ship, and that's the Titanic. It's going to take quite a while. And secondly is the convenience wanes when your mobile phone is your only device and you're shutting yourself out from the rest of the world to use it to game. I mean, because if you're gaming for 2 hours and you can't take phone calls or receive text messages, that's a problem.
Right.
And they need to be able to get over that. And then, if you're getting notifications in the middle of the game, how intrusive is it going to be? And, those two things I think, and then the battery life, of course, are going to be huge issues.
Yeah, so definitely some tough hurdles that the mobile marketplace has to get over before they can be a, because I mean they're a serious competitor already, but to take it to the next step, they got some hurdles that they need.
Yep.
So let us know what you guys think on this long form discussion. Leave comments down in the comment section of wherever it is that you are consuming this media, whether it's on YouTube or on your favorite podcasting app. Leave us a comment. Leave us suggestions. We take all of them to heart, and we definitely want to know what you guys think on these topics. Now we can go ahead and move on to the next segment of the show, which is going to be our final thoughts. And now this is where we kind of retrace our steps and talk about a couple of the stories that we spoke of today, and just give our final 2 cents on them. I'll go ahead and go first. Yep, I'll go ahead and start it. When it comes to Pokemon Go, it really seems like they're going to do whatever they can to keep this game as relevant as possible. It's a super popular game, and I feel like the technology that they are creating, just for this game will be used like well into the future. As far as the Activision removing Transformers, if you're a fan of those games, and you have Xbox, get them while you can, because I feel like they'll be removed from the Xbox marketplace very soon. The game's for gold for January. Not too excited about it. We do have a couple of games that I am interested in, but nothing that I'm like jumping out of the window after or anything like that. Full price Civ on iOS. I'm definitely interested to see how many people will be willing to pay full price for an app on a mobile device. It's a very interesting conversation to be had there. Psychonauts 2 being delayed by Double Fine. I'm all about it. I'm actually going to purchase the first one right now because it's on sale on Steam for $1. So I'm going to go ahead and get that now and play through it and see how I like it. Team versus mode coming to Street Fighter. Something that should have been, in the game at launch, in my opinion. right now I feel like Capcom is kind of just like playing catch up with themselves. You know, the game has been out for a while, and so now they're just implementing these features that should have been like if you have a feature at the end of the Street Fighter 4 cycle, and then you begin Street Fighter 5 and you're just void of like a lot of content, you're doing something wrong. And I feel like Capcom has learned that lesson, and so going forward they're going to make sure that they have a lot of features besides just like online versus, because that is not what the casual fighting game player is all about. You know, they like just playing arcade mode or story mode or whatever. So I feel like they learned that lesson. Hopefully they have. And PUBG, I'm interested in the game. I want to play it, but they definitely got a long road ahead of them as far as the console version. Hopefully they can get that thing optimized in a timely fashion. Boogie, what are your final thoughts?
Excuse me, Pokemon Go, I give it a try. And I'll report back to tell you what my experiences were.
Okay.
It's kind of cool to see somebody actually doing AR. I'm kind of excited about AR. I've been excited about AR when Microsoft announced the HoloLens, and I'm excited to see it implemented in a truer fashion than what it had been previously.
Right.
Activision removing Transformers. It looks like Activision may be losing licenses. It'd be interesting to see what official word comes out. They've also done this before when they've decided to release a package or a re-release a collection.
Okay.
So it's possible that may be coming, but I think it's more of the licensing lapse. It seems to be Activision is getting out of the licensing game in all. They just want to destroy the world with loot boxes.
Yeah. It's like they don't need licenses. They don't need to license properties when they can just milk you with the properties that they have.
Yep. The Xbox Live for Gold games. I didn't know much about them. I'm not super excited. I mean, the Zombie and the Van Helsing, I'm definitely going to give it a try. Tomb Raider, I'm not going to touch. Army of Two, I played through that long time ago. In the day, yeah. Way back when, and I might just give it a try for nostalgic purposes. But I mean, try them if you want. If they seem to be up your alley, it just doesn't seem anything super compelling. Civ 6 on the iOS, it seems like a good fit. I just don't know if people are going to want to spend $60 in the App Store on a game. It'd be, like you said, it'd be interesting to follow that story, find out how that pans out. Psychonauts 2 being delayed. Again, as long as you're transparent, if you come out and tell me ahead of time that you're going to delay the game, and you're telling me you're delaying the game because you want to make the game that you feel that the community deserves,
right,
and that the community expects, that's fine. Just let us know what's going on with it. Don't just leave us in the dark for months and months, years at a time, and then not tell us anything. The team versus mode in Street Fighter 5, like you said, it is something that should have been with launch. And like I also mentioned, when I was reading through the multiple stories and checking the forums, that's what seemed to be the consensus from the community.
Right.
It's something that should have been there. But you know what? It's better late than never, especially when they're not charging you for it. So if you already have the game, you're getting it for free. So it's, okay.
Right.
PUBG is still showing that is one of the most, if not the most popular game out right now. Is huge on PC and is already becoming huge on Xbox. Again, it's early release, so they're going to be ironing out bugs. It's disappointing that it came out with such game-breaking bugs, especially with frame rate drops and the hit detection issue. But they're going to be fixing it. Again, it's been 2 updates since it's been out. Apparently, there's another one coming soon. So it looks like they're going to be working rapid fire to get it fixed. Microsoft is throwing some money at it. They've got some people working with Bluehole to optimize it for Xbox. So I think within 6 months, it's going to be it's going to be a different story.
Right.
Apple requiring odds for loot boxes. It's the first step. And again, this is a thing. They need to police themselves, or the government's going to police them.
Right.
Bungie, I mean, you guys are absolutely out of your minds, ridiculous, and it's really really compounds the issue when you do it for the holiday and then you skate town while you just leave your players in the lurch. That's just it's just horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I have. Yeah.
Yeah, let us know what you guys thought on all of the stories that we talked about today. Again, you can hit us up. We are on Facebook, a weekly gaming news show. You can also hit us on Twitter. We are at AWGamingNS. Let us know what you guys thought. This is episode 80. We're going to go ahead and bounce up out of here. But before we do, I do want to give one more shout out to our sponsors, the New Challenger Discord. Head over to newchallenger.gg and get good in your favorite fighting game with your favorite fighting game character. Newchallenger.gg. Thanks to those guys over there. And also, if you want to take us on the go, Boogie, why don't you let them know exactly where they can do that?
If you're using up any kind of podcast and that's your favorite podcatcher, just search us by A Weekly Gaming News Show or our call letters AWGNS. We are directly in the iTunes store. We are directly in the Google Play Store under the same AWGNS or Weekly Gaming News Show. You can also find us on TuneIn Radio. Go to any of those three, TuneIn, Google Play, or iTunes. Leave us a comment, rate us, let us know what you think, and we'll take that to heart and make changes as we can.
Right. If you guys want to see more of us, we are on YouTube as well. Go to our YouTube page and make sure that you subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers over on YouTube, so a subscription would definitely be appreciated. You also get to see a quick snippet into the stories that we're going to be talking about on each podcast with the Weekly Gaming News 10 and 10, which is hosted by Todd. So yeah, go ahead, check us out. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know if there's anything else that you would like to see. Because like Todd said, we do take those to heart, and we definitely want to make this a better experience for you guys. We do this for fun. We want to make it better for you guys. So,
and one last thing before we go, quick programming note. We missed Sunday because of Christmas Eve.
Yep.
New Year's Eve is this coming Sunday, so we're not going to be live on Sunday. Look for us on Monday, New Year's Day, January 1st, and we will see you guys next year, 2018.
Yep, this is the last episode of 2017.
Last episode of the year.
Yeah, so we will see you guys in episode 81. Again, this is a weekly gaming news show, and we are your hosts. My name is Trenell.
I'm Todd.
And we will catch you guys next week.
Peace.